Good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a great morning so far. We are rounding out the 9 a.m. high impact news. I have not taken any trades, as you can see. I really only had about 13 minutes this morning that I could trade based on the two news events, and price was really choppy, as I could see on time-based chart, so I'm not very surprised at all that I didn't have setups today. Well, set up so far. So in this moment, I'm just really waiting on 902. Then I'll wait for 2 full swings to paint, and then I will start trading. All right, so it's now 9:02. I'll just wait for 2 swings to paint. There's the first one. There's the second swing, so now I am clear to trade. Let me mute my YouTubes that are open. All right, so let's see if we start getting some trades going. Definitely very, very choppy this morning. It's just what a 5-minute chart looks like. Looks crazy. Almost looks like a Heikin-Ashi chart, the way that it's wicks on the tops and bottoms, and looks crazy. We are trading near the middle pivot level. Excuse me. And also the prior high. I'm sorry, the prior low is sitting there as well. So good morning, Rio. How are you this morning? Good morning, good morning. All right, this looks like it's actually a support level from 7 o'clock. You're good, 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 good. So tell me how trading has been going for you lately. Have you still been toying with the pre-market, or what's been going on with you? I know at one point you said you didn't want to do it, but then you were still doing it. So I didn't know if you continue to, or if you just finally had enough. I did spend time reviewing a few things yesterday, and The first trade that I took yesterday, I told you guys like it was supposed to be a loss, but I ended up winning it because of how I was filled on the order. And I said like, I feel like I need to specifically look at the fact that I was taking a sell, but the previous reversal bar bounced off of a support level. And so I really wanted to look at that specifically because I kind of had a hunch. And so when I went through, it's definitely a thing, which is very crazy because at one point I was doing that, like only taking buys that were going back towards the support level and vice versa for sales and resistance. But then I stopped. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. But we're here now. It's all good. It's all good. I really wanted to take this sale right here, but it kind of really made no sense to. I would have ended up breaking even anyway, because as soon as it hit that new rotation level, I would have clicked the break even button, and we would have just ended up getting a break even out of it anyway. But yeah, so I looked at that. And I looked at a couple of other things. There also were a couple of trades that were pullbacks to my weak level that I sat out of because I didn't have enough data for that particular setup type in all of the 8 weeks that I had for trading. But I did write down, like, I think I want to use the same exact pattern as the other type where the current swing is less than the previous swing. The ones that were setting up yesterday, besides one, where the current swing was more than the previous swing. So I did not take them. I sat out of them and it won twice yesterday. So I am going to go ahead and start taking those because I already had a hunch that that was going to work out anyway. So it wasn't a big deal. So I ended up having like way more setups yesterday than I thought I did. And then you guys know that I I missed 2 of the divergence trades that happened off of the session low. So when you take all of that into account, I think I should have been like 5 and I don't even remember. I'll have to look, but shouldn't have had any losses yesterday. Which my only loss yesterday was some fluky stuff where, you know, I got filled on that the followers that didn't have a leader attached to it. But aside from that, so far this week has been actually pretty good price action for me, which is surprising because usually FOMC week is the slowest for my strategy. But I can say I do have more setups that I can trade now versus all the other months where I had data for. I wasn't trading all of this, so that probably has something to do with it as well. 67. Then we got that there. You think you've had enough? You're working on holding longer. Aww. I understand. You just gotta find what works well for you. Good morning, Amelia. Got stopped out by the tick earlier. That is the worst. That is the worst. I think that's like probably the most frustrating thing that I deal with as well. Like, if I lose and it just was a losing trade, cool. But when I lose and I get stopped out either to the tick or even if it goes another 4 ticks against me and then it just shoots down 100 ticks, like, bro, I'm only going for 18. You could have gave me that 18 before you decide to wick out and then go the extra 100. You ain't have to do that. That's how I be feeling. Let me see. There's more. $4.29. Almost got there, but not quite. was a fast stop out. Pretty fast stop out. Pretty sure I traded that the exact way I needed to. Yep, I did. It's just a stop out. You win some, you lose some. So that's going to be the other thing that I'm going to continue to be focused on this week. Is taking every single trade. Not sitting out, not questioning, unless it's something that I am already questioning. Like, cool, I'm cool with sitting out. But attempting to take every single setup. Because if I just take half of the trades that I sit out of, listen. Listen here. Let's see. Open. All right, no buy here. I really wanted to take that sell, but I could not. There ended up being way too much volume in the reversal, the entry candle, so it would have won. I mean, as soon as it went 18 ticks, it reversed back up. All right, now we've pushed too far. I was looking for a reversal here. Then it kept going your way. Yeah. Using Rhythmic for the first time is really weird compared to my easy chart trading on Tradeovate. So are you using a platform or are you actually trading on our trader? Good morning, Online Safety. How are you? Oh, okay. So you are trading on Ninja. Ninja, honestly, I love NinjaTrader. I know some people say that it's not that great of a software. However, I've been using it for well over 4 years. Like I've had a lifetime license for over 4 years. So I've been using it for quite a bit because of course I used it before I even had a lifetime license. And it's my charting software preference. I looked at TradingView. I absolutely hated it. A lot of people say that it's more user-friendly. I did not find it user-friendly at all. I never used Tradeovate, but even just watching other people use it, I didn't like that. I can say that I did used to really, really like Thinkorswim, especially the fact that it was kind of like TradingView where you could have the mobile app and whatever you're drawing on your charts on your computer will translate or transfer over to the mobile app and vice versa. I did like that part. But I just feel like of all the trading software out there, NinjaTrader has the most features. It has the most available indicators, whether it's paid or free, whether it's native indicators or something you get from a third-party vendor. I mean, if you're somebody who doesn't really care about indicators and stuff, any platform will work for you. But they just have such it's kind of like MetaTrader where you just have a lot of content and things that you can import into NinjaTrader. I like the ATM strategy that you can use because I do know that, not every software allows for you to have bracket orders for an ATM strategy, just different things like that. So I love it. I have no complaints. My only complaint is I don't like any of the updated versions of the software. But I don't even like how they make you log in. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't have to do that on the old version at all. So that would be my only gripe. But aside from that, no issues whatsoever. Good, good. It's good that you are good. I'm really hoping that we could see some decent movement today. I mean, I know that FOMC is later. Usually on FOMC day, I'll actually have like the most setups. However, I think what kind of screwed this morning up compared to others is that there was the 8:45 high impact news on top of the 9 a.m. high impact news. So in the 13 minutes that I'm able to trade in the first 30 minutes of the session based on those two news events, I just didn't have setups. And like I said, looking at a 5-minute chart, I see exactly why. I see exactly why. So all right, that pulled back too far. You know what? I'm quite sure I just missed this sell right here. Quite sure. I did. That's all right. I was just sitting there looking at it. It's so choppy. Like the way my charts looks, it just looks so crazy. But yeah, I just totally missed that. I just talked about how my goal is to not miss any trades. Well, at least that one I just genuinely missed. I didn't like watch it and sit out of, but that would have got me back to break even. That was a pretty nice sell. I definitely would have gotten filled when it came up on this bar right there. All right, so yeah, I should be break even. I'm just so used to like these zones not being this close together. So I think I just wasn't paying attention because it looks so crazy. But it's all good. It's like, do you want to break down or do you want to break up? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? But it's crazy how I drew this zone. I drew this zone when price was like up here. And this is clearly a support level / resistance. It was resistance back here. Support right here. This is a 5-minute chart. So when people say that using Rinkos, you cannot see the overall picture, they're lying. They are lying. It's just a matter of what tools do you use to see the overall picture. Because I am so zoomed in, I need certain indicators so that I can see the overall picture without being zoomed out. Oh, he hit 10K. I was just in his stream earlier. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. You do like that there are choices to the trade copier? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you're not stuck with one just because that's the only thing that's available. So it's really nice. I've never used Replicanto. Actually, I think I did try the free one that was in the NinjaTrader ecosystem. There is a free one in there. If you Google NinjaTrader user app share, it'll bring you to a place where there's just a whole bunch of indicators that, what is that? What is that? And why did it disappear? Oh, it didn't. Oh, I couldn't see it behind the red. But yeah, if you go in there and then you search for trade copier, there's a free simple one in there that you can use. Like I said, I've never had Replicanto, but I have used the Apex copier, and then of course the affordable indicators copier that I use now, which is the same one that Nutty Bar uses, which I need to reach out to Joel because I went ahead and he signed me up for the affiliate program, but he didn't give me all the details for it. And I know when I commented on one of his videos, his last video I think that he put out regarding like the update for the copier and stuff, he told me that we needed to talk, and he said that one of his newer customers basically said that I told them about the copier. And I was referring him before I even knew there was an affiliate program. I am a huge proponent of not being a gatekeeper. If there's something great out there, I have no problem telling people about it, whether I get paid for it or not. All right, so we do have crude oil coming up. That's going to be the last news event before I get off. Just really hoping that we get some trades in the next hour and a half. It'd be nice to be break even right now based on that trade that I missed, but you know, such is life. And honestly, I can't really look for sales now based on what price is doing around here, really until we break through here. You can see that we changed the bias in the first part of the zone, but we didn't clear the zone, so technically it's still a downtrend bias. But now there's just going to be like some consolidation here until we either break this zone or we break up. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, this is a very weird area. Yeah, like my major level's at 448.25, but my minor's above it. In order for this to have enough strength to actually push down and like for real be a downtrend, my levels need to cross. So kind of like MAs, where if your fast is, let's say you're going for a sale and your fast MA is above the slow MA, you kind of want to wait for the fast MA to get below it so that you can see that there's more strength in that downtrend. Kind of the same thing with this, even though what I'm using is a version of a half trend and not MAs, but kind of works the same. Still have the same goal of trying to pass one of the 25Ks by the end of the week, which before I started today, I was only about 930 away from it. But of course, with me being down $100 right now, I'm $1,000 away. To be honest with you guys, the first 2 days of the week were really good. And had I taken every single trade I was supposed to, and you know, based on a couple of adjustments that I had to make based on Monday and Tuesday session, then I actually should be up like $1,200 per account. So yeah, I would have almost had 2 of them pass, but it's all good. For me, I'm just happy that I'm seeing the progress that I've been working so hard for. And now it's just a matter of getting the other part together of not sitting out, you know, too many trades, not missing too many trades, not making a whole lot of mistakes, and getting into trades I'm not supposed to be in, that kind of thing. Because I just feel like for the last, I would say, month or so, each week I'm having to make less and less adjustments. So that's good, considering I've been on this Renko setting for a little over 2 months now. About actually, let's see, we started at the week of March 11th, so a little under 2 months actually. So the progress that I've been seeing is great, and it makes me happy. Makes me very happy. I mean, this is just a chop fest. All right, so maybe we'll get the breakout on the top that I said I was looking for. But we have kind of broke out around here before, because I know earlier we were trading at the middle pivot level and prior low, so still don't know if I want to take trades at the middle pivot level. I think I might have to do like I do on the major support and resistance level, where only pullbacks, no divergence, and it can't rotate over it. Only the entry bar can touch it. So like if this pulls down and then the next bar goes up, I cannot take it. That's a rotation. But if we reverse down first and then we go up from that level, then I can take it. But we are about 45 seconds away from not being able to take any trades. So and now we've pushed too far off the VWAP. So something else I have been looking at, and I'm not going to trade it anytime soon, but I did used to do this as well, is like, you guys know I don't like taking trades going back towards the VWAP, right? So like this sale would be going back towards this VWAP. However, because this one touched another VWAP level, it usually can cancel each other out and I would still be able to take the trade. However, this one is a little bit different because I still can't take it. We would be going back towards that buy rotation level, which I would never do. So, because historically that trade just does not work out well. But I do want to pay a little bit more attention to that. It doesn't happen often. It's more on choppy days like today, where we are just kind of going back and forth between levels and no real breakouts. So I'll just pay a little bit more attention to it, but it's not a huge deal. It, like I said, it doesn't happen often enough to really care like that. I care more about quantifying the setups that I can see practically every day. All right, so crude oil is now. So I'll be waiting until 9:31, and then we'll wait for 2 swings to paint, and then I'll be back trading again. Good morning, Hamza. Thank you. And good morning, Lisa. How are you this morning? Hamza, how are you? You guys, Hamza just started live streaming. I think, again, I'm not sure if he was live streaming before, but you guys can check his channel out. He's also one of the senior mods in the Apex official Discord. So check him out. He's also a scalper, but he scalps on time-based charts. I have to check out your live from in the middle of the night. Honey, I was asleep. But I have to catch the replay. All right. It is now 9:31, so we'll wait for 2 swings, then we'll be back at it. Today is actually probably the slowest FOMC day for me so far, which is weird. But what I am liking, and like I've told you guys before, and what my goal was with creating my strategy, is being able to have a strategy that kind of works with high volatility and volume days and low volatility and low volume days or whatever. And for it to basically, like, when there's high volatility and high volume, I have significantly more trades than a low volatility and low volume day. And the reason why that's important to me is because it's letting me know that, like, you know, typically if there's low volatility and low volume, there is a chop fest. So with me not having as many setups, it makes me happy that my strategy is kind of filtering through and not putting me in choppy markets, basically. So far, as time has gone on and as I've been filtering trades out by adjusting my rules and stuff like that, I am seeing the progress that I want to see when it comes to that. So that's good. All right, so the next buy I cannot take. We be going back towards the middle pivot level, so not too much worried about that. I don't really like the sell either, because whenever it comes to like traditional pullbacks, I would rather this line be red and not green. I'll take divergence trades where the buy is at a red level and vice versa, but not regular pullbacks. So we'll just kind of wait this out and see what happens. I would love to see it push out above the VWAP. Then I feel like we would get some real movement. I mean, there's a lot of wicks to try to push through, you know, in this area, but for me, you guys know, I don't care. As long as I can get my 18 ticks and move on, you can do whatever you want after I'm out the trade. Good morning, Clarity. How are you this morning? Good morning. Good morning. You're doing good. Get ready to do my challenge account next week. Oh, love it. Are you trading with Apex, or are you doing a challenge account with a different prop? Right now, I only trade with Apex just because for me, it made no sense to trade with anything else, considering I was developing my strategy. And also, I just like Apex's rules and, you know, things like that. So for me, I probably wouldn't trade any other props until I get to 20 accounts with Apex, but you never know. Especially because, I mean, I have rhythmic accounts with Apex, so I can't use two rhythmic connections at the same time in NinjaTrader, and I don't want to use another like Quantower or something like that where you can connect to multiple rhythmic accounts. So I'm basically kind of screwed a little bit. If I had Tradeovate accounts with Apex, it would be a little bit different, but I'm not paying more for data, even though I do prefer CQG personally, but no thanks. I think also I prefer CQG on personal accounts. I don't know about their sim environment. Alrighty, so we got the current open down there. So now we are having a little bit of a breakout. If this pulls down here, I can't take the buy. We'd be rotating over that level that I don't want to rotate on. So yeah. FOMC at 2, stay flat until then. Oh, I'm not doing that. I don't even trade. I don't trade past 11 o'clock. FOMC days, you guys will notice with me, red news days does not bother me or my strategy whatsoever. I've only taken one trade, and I should be break even right now because I actually missed a trade just completely not paying attention. I missed a trade that would have put me back to break even. So yeah, I'm not gonna sit out until 1 o'clock because I ain't gonna be here. I'm gonna be gone by then. Yeah, it's a lot of sideways chop for sure. For sure. I feel like the market is really weird anytime Powell speaks. It's always very weird. But you gotta take what you can get. Signed up with Top Step, but been thinking about going with Apex if I blow my account. Top Step, well, no, it wasn't Top Step. It was You Profit. I think that was one of the first props I ever heard of in the future space. But one of my best friends, who's the one that's a trader, he said that Top Step was one of the first ones that he heard about. We were just talking about that the other day. But yeah, I think for me, like, being a business owner myself in the past, which I always talk about how I shut down my credit repair business to focus on trading, because the reality was I didn't want to do that long term. But one thing I don't like about Top Step, My Funded Futures, a lot of those companies is it's like they focus so heavy on trying to do this crazy weird marketing of trying to talk bad about Apex. And it's like, well, if your strategy is great, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter what Apex is doing. You shouldn't have to badmouth them. Like, just do what you do. Just do what you do. All right, I was looking for a reversal off of 487.75, but now we've pushed down too far. That level will be going through the body of the entry candle, so now we wait again. All right, and I can remove the zones. The new reversal zone would be here. But yeah, that's one thing that I just don't like. I just feel like focus on yourself. Focus on marketing your product, and you don't have to badmouth a company that's not badmouthing you. If your product is that great, if your company is that great, you would be able to grow without doing that. That's just how I feel. I do think that it's really cool that Top Step has the Top Step TV. I think that's pretty dope, a pretty dope concept. Of course, you always hope that they vet the people enough, and it's not just based on, you know, whatever their profit and loss is, but also their character and things like that, because you do have a responsibility if you are putting these content creators on your platform to just make sure they're good people overall. But I do think it's a pretty cool concept, and I actually hope that Apex does it in the future. I don't know if they ever would, because it is kind of a huge responsibility for them to do, but I think that it would be pretty cool. I mean, I don't really tune into Top Step TV like that, but there's been a couple of times where, you know, I've just gone in there just to kind of see what was going on. And it's very cool to have, like, you know, a lot of times they'll have multiple traders on the platform at the same time, and they'll have completely different trading styles. And I think it's cool for traders, especially newer traders, because that's typically who's, you know, tuning in the most. But I think it's cool for them to be able to see how you can have different trading styles and still be successful. You know, what works for one person doesn't work for another. Tight stop losses doesn't work for other people. I'm trying to get my strategy to make it work for me, because that is what works best for my thought process, my personality, and my preferred trading style. After swing trading, after doing intraday swing trading, it was always my goal to master scalping. I want to be in and out of the trade before the market can even attempt to change conditions on me. I want to be able to trade in chop or in a trending market. That has always been my goal, always. Always, always. 466. We pushed down too far again. Good morning, Janelle. Good morning, good morning. Even though I'm not green, I should be break even. That was my fault, but hopefully we've broken out of the choppy zone and we can get some good trades in over the next hour and 20 minutes. You have the same reason for not bothering with Top Step 2. Yeah, it's just disgusting. Why did I mark that zone for a reversal zone? So this market structure indicator that I use, you see where that thick blue line is? this is if I go far over enough, because it only shows when it changes, this is an upside pressure line. So for me, when it clears this, and I also use a version of a half trend as well. So the change level, it basically, if it clears that zone, my bias will change from an uptrend to a downtrend. Now, again, I still take buys even if I have an overall downtrend or, sell bias, but my volume requirements that I'm looking for trades, they change based off of if my overall bias is in the same direction of the trade that I'm taking or if it's in the opposite. So like right now, I have an uptrend bias. So if I was to take this sale right here, I am looking for different volume patterns than if my overall bias was a downtrend. So with the pressure line that's there, plus where my half trend tells me that my bias would change, I basically draw the zone. Because a lot of times it will clear the first level, and when this clears, what you're going to do is see this blue line turn to a smaller red line, because it'll basically be support changing to resistance, right? But sometimes you'll see it clear this first part of the zone, it'll change that line to red, and then it'll push off of it because it is a support zone until it clears it. So once it clears off the bottom of it, then my overall bias will officially change to a downtrend. So, and like every time I draw the zones, if you go back and you look on a time-based chart, it's always drawn where it should be. I had no idea any of this stuff was here, right? No idea. I'm so zoomed in. I don't know what happened. This was a time I wasn't even on the chart. But that's why I was saying earlier, some people feel like with Rinkos, you're so zoomed in. And like I had people when I first came to YouTube, telling me you're too zoomed in. You need to look at a 1-day chart. You need to look at this kind of chart, an hour chart, whatever. And it's like, first of all, I don't need to do anything. I need to do what is going to work for my strategy. It doesn't matter what the daily chart looks like, a 5-minute chart looks like. None of that matters in regards to my strategy. I only have it open because I just like to see how choppy or not choppy it looks on a time-based chart. That's it. I don't draw any levels based off of it. I don't do anything based off of it. It's just literally there. I don't need it at all. But yeah, so that's why I draw the zones the way that I do. So right now, we just pushed off of my major half trend level, which is at 475. So what happens when we create like some divergence there is sometimes we create divergence for it being like that last little push up before we completely change. Or sometimes we will pull all the way back to this level and we start pushing up and to continue the uptrend. So right now, I'm really just kind of waiting to see what we do here. Let's see. If this pulls down here, I can't get into the buy though. So I'll just have to wait for the next trade. I don't have the nerves to be a swing trader. I believe in getting in and out of trades. Oh my God, yes. Like I remember one time, and I always tell this story when it comes to swing trading. I was in a GBP NZD trade, so a British pound New Zealand dollar trade. Was in the trade, and in the first day, I came like within 10 pips or so of hitting my take profit. And then I remember I was in a buy and it reversed. And at the time, I wasn't like a move stop loss to break even type of trader. I was an all or nothing. That was it. So that thing literally bounced back and forth for almost 2 weeks. And so many times it kept coming back to within like 10 to 15 pips of hitting my take profit. And then it would just reverse and just keep bouncing back and forth. After 2 weeks, it finally lost. It was at that moment that I said, I am not a swing trader anymore. Because why did I have to go through all of that? You could have just stopped me out on day one. That's how I feel. Why did you make me suffer and sit through that for what? So that's when I knew I couldn't do that. Am I streaming through FOMC? Nope. I'll be gone. I will be gone. I always stop at 11 o'clock. And the reason why is because here's my thought process. So I used to trade, first of all, I used to trade London, then wake back up, trade the first 2.5 hours of New York. Then I would take a break from 11 to 12, and then I would come back from 12 to 2. And I was doing that every day. It was not sustainable. I did it for a very long time, like months and months. But when I sat back and thought about it, I'm like, okay, look, if we can just figure out how to capitalize in the first 2.5 hours, let's forget London. And I was only really trading London because I'm a night owl naturally. I do not like waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning to trade. I don't. But this is the best time to trade. You have the highest volume, the highest volatility. So I would take that like lunch break, since really from 11 to 12, the markets dry up pretty significantly. 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. And then I would come back from 12 to 2. I would start trading, I think, the Nasdaq at 12. And then I would start trading crude oil at 1. And I would just trade both of them, sometimes ES as well, until 2 o'clock. But it was not sustainable. So first I got rid of the London session. But then I was still doing the split schedule during New York. And I realized, like, yo, the reality is, once I get off the charts, I don't want to come back. And then I just started thinking about long term, like when I start traveling and things like that, I'm not really going to want to start my day because, yeah, when you vacation, you want a vacation. But let's be real. If this is a full-time thing for me, which, you know, I want this to be able to support my lifestyle, help me get back into investing, things like that. Like, I want this to be my primary source of income, which I don't have a problem with. I don't think it's bad for anybody to do once you mastered what you're trying to master with trading, right? Yes, you're going to have ups and downs, but the biggest thing is if you have the right edge, you can get through the valleys and get back to the peaks, right? So if I'm on vacation, I'm cool with not doing anything until after 11 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, because again, I'm not a morning person anyway. So I don't want to get up and start doing activities at 9 a.m. No, thank you. No, thank you. So I can easily just start my day at 11 or 12 versus starting my day at 2 or 3. The whole day is gone by then. So that's like the main reason why I'm just, no, thank you. And then, the fatigue comes in, you're sitting on the charts longer. And then if my strategy is volume based, as of I switched to volume based trading right before New Year's. So if I'm more volume based, and we know that volume significantly dries up at a certain time of day to prepare for lunch, your volume might come back a little bit towards the end of the session. Why push myself past 11 o'clock? I mean, volume really dries up after 10:30 for real, but I just pushed the last 30 minutes because I can get some pretty good trades in the last 30 minutes. So yeah, I prefer not to. I just think it's better for my mental health to get off. No matter what, just to get off. Still trying to find my footing on which market that works for me. Is very tiresome. Let me tell you something. The reason why it has taken me practically 10 years, because I'm 10 years, I started first learning how to trade in 2014. Like, I think it was September of 2014. Now, I always tell people I've been trading for 10 years off and on, way more often on, because I would get irritated. And when you have a successful business at the time, when you have a great career as a nurse, when this thing that you don't have to do is irritating you, you just fucking quit. So I would quit for 6 to 12 months at a time, come back for like 3 months, quit again. Now, when I was successfully like intraday swing trading on a 2-minute Heikin-Ashi chart 4 years ago, I can't even tell you why. So I have no idea. I would have to look through my journals from back then to figure out why I stopped. But more than likely, I stopped because I wanted to focus on business again, you know? And it was such a dumb move of me, because if my mindset, when I first started learning how to trade 10 years ago, I knew 10 years ago that trading was going to be my primary source of income. I was going to master trading in the way that I needed it. I needed to master it for my own, profitability or whatever. But even knowing that, I still allowed myself to quit. But you have to understand that 10 years ago, the retail trading space was not like, that's when it first started to gain steam. So yeah, you saw people online making good money, but we also understood that Photoshop was a thing, scamming was a thing. So you really didn't know, right? And then also back then, there was not a whole lot of representation when it came to Black people, and especially Black women. Most of the Black women that I saw kind of in the internet space back then, when it came to trading, it was more like stock market stuff, and there weren't very many of those. So when you start getting frustrated, it's like, F this. I don't have anything to motivate me. One of the best things that probably happened to me along this journey was the retail trading space with futures prop firms becoming so popular, because then it allowed you to gain access to a community of other people, other everyday people like yourself, who are succeeding. And it helps you to understand that, like, okay, yo, wait a minute. I can't keep quitting. And then also, it's about age, right? It's easy for me to quit at 24, at 28, even at 30. But at almost 34, my thought process is, okay, girl, if you keep quitting for 6 months, 12 months at a time, you're going to look up and you're going to be 45, pissed off because you've put things off for another 10 years. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. I don't. But it takes a lot, because the reality is, no matter what course you buy, no matter what mentorship or coaching you go through, most trading strategies are still pretty subjective, right? You will have some people who teach you like, oh, I have a trend line strategy, but they'll also tell you that, like, okay, I'll give you a good example, like Tori Trades. I don't know if you guys know her. I watch her content sometimes, but she put out this video, and I think it was last month. I can't remember. But she put out a video basically saying, like, when she started this last group of mentorship, she likes her mentorship because it forces her to stick to her rules, because she has all of these people watching her at the time, and she can't teach hunch. She has to, nobody can teach hunch. Hunch is something that you get over time of being on the charts long enough, right? Seeing the same patterns happen, losing the same weight over and over. And then you're like, wait a second, I feel like I've seen this before. But there's so many strategies where if you teach 100 people, 25 are going to see the market this way, 25 are going to see it that way, 25 is going to see it this way, 25 is going to see it this way. I don't like strategies like that, because when you have super over analytical people like myself, I'll analyze myself out of every trade, or I'll get in and look at one thing and I'm like, oh, that's invalid, I'm out. Or you leave too much room open for people who are going to go on tilts, right? Because, well, your strategy says if and or but I see this because I see red, because now I'm mad and I'm going on tilt. So that's also one of the reasons why I put my strategy together the way that I did, where it's very specific rules. I cannot overanalyze myself out of trades. The only time I've ever done that so far is when I was still like putting certain parts of the strategy together for certain setups. Now I'm analyzing a little bit like, wait a second, I feel like I've seen this before and I feel like I've lost. So I'm going to sit out and we'll just write this down, this trade down as a miss or a didn't take. And then I'll go back and I'll look at these specific variables to see, is there something I can do to quantify this so that I know for sure in the future if I'm going to take it or not. I'll never be 100% accurate. Nobody is, but If I can be just 75% accurate on my strategy, that's great for me. So I just care about what volume patterns am I seeing every single day that I can quantify and make a thing, make rules out of. And I need to make it work for me. Now, whether I'll ever teach it in the future, I don't know. But if I do ever teach my strategy, I will be able to have 100 people that I am teaching who all take the trade at the same time if they pay attention to the rules, because it's going to be very cut and dry. Take the trade if the chart looks like this. Do not take the trade if the chart looks like this. That's simple. That's simple. All right, that trade just invalidated itself. Good morning, Crypto Panda. How are you? Tori Trades always talks about sticking to the rules. She's a pretty profitable swing trader. It works for her, but not for me. You're right. Finding your own strategy is definitely a key factor. Absolutely. And the crazy thing is, I'm quite sure that the way that I was trading 2 years ago, when I was profitable with the intraday swing trading with a 2-minute Heikin-Ashi chart, candle chart, I can assure you that I was trading using some kind of trend lines. I am 1000% sure. 1000% sure. Now, I was using some other stuff to go with it, probably like some MAs and some other stuff, but I'm pretty sure I was doing a trend line strategy then. But she found something that worked for her, which is good. Oh, I don't. Oh, good. All right, I can't take that. It will close at that level. I actually want this to close down in this bar so that I don't gotta take it. And the reason why I can't really tell, I feel like this rotation level stopped on this bar before the entry bar. I'm pretty sure. If it did, I can take the sell if we don't push down right here. All right, cool. Well, it pushed down right there anyway, so that helped. All right. We're trading near the overnight high. And the only reason I couldn't take this sell is because this bar closed literally on the rotation level. I never take trades if the bar closes on any level that I have. So I just couldn't take it. And I would have broken even anyway because the zigzag changed, and I'm pretty sure when it changed, it came back up and touched the entry. So it would have been a break even no matter what. Who has? Alpine's loss yesterday was a great example of not following your strategy. Yeah. And probably, like, I did tune in this morning, and I did hear him say, like, he might stop streaming during the open because he finds himself rushing. And it's probably, well, I know for me, I don't really have much to set up when I start streaming. I just open OBS and I just click the button. So I don't know if there's more that goes into setting up for him. I'm not sure. But I think the biggest thing for me is if you just started streaming the open again and you haven't had the best of luck since you started streaming it, so just stop streaming it. You know, people are going to ask you questions. Hey, I just tuned in. How come you have all this profit over here, but you haven't taken any trades since I've been watching? People are always going to have questions, and that's fine. But don't put yourself and your profits in jeopardy just to appease people or just to make people happy because you're streaming it. And the other thing is, like, I know he doesn't show his entries because he doesn't want people copying him and, you know, it end up a day like yesterday. But really, you can see his entries, and I don't know if he knows that. You can see them. So, yeah, I just say don't stream it. It's honestly one of the reasons why the whole DCA talk and trading the open has even become a thing, a huge thing in this space over the last like 2 weeks, because he's been growing so fast and he's, you know, averaging a lot of viewers live, and then his replays are typically like 5,000 plus views. There's so many eyes on him. And if you are trading in a way where it's against any company rules, don't even publicize it. I wouldn't. Like, for instance, you know, in the official Discord, people were talking about DCA so much, they got Daryl to come in to confirm that, hey, if you're adding one time to a loser, fine. We don't really care. We understand that you just didn't have a great entry. But continuing to add is against the company policy, right? Somebody commented in the Discord and said, Alpine is sweating bullets or something like that. Like, basically saying Alpine should be scared because he trades in a way that is what Daryl just said is against policy. Alpine then came and said, what would I be worried for, or something like that, LOL. I wouldn't have said that, because now you're kind of taunting them, right? But also, the reality is, if it's against the rules, it's against the rules. I tell people, if you start seeing a company like cracking down on something, whatever, because there were people, and we talked about this, there were people like, they shouldn't be cracking down on it now. It doesn't matter when they crack down on it. Maybe they didn't have enough support team members. I don't know. But at any point in time, they have the right to enforce any rule, because it's in the contract that you can't do it. So for me, if I was doing something that the rules say I couldn't do, y'all think I would be live streaming? And it's worse that, you know, he's been so successful that so many people are starting to adopt, you know, scalping strategies, and everybody wants to trade the open range and stuff like that. And what's going to happen is, if some of these companies really start cracking down and they start off with the everyday trader that's not a content creator, it's going to cause an uproar, because I've already seen people in his chat way before this talk started happening in the last couple of weeks. I literally saw a girl come in there and say, well, you guys know, she said, you guys can't trade like him. You guys know that he's a YouTuber, so he's going to get approved payouts. Well, number one, that's not true. But the fact that that is, like, whether it's a general consensus or not, that's not good. It's not good at all. Not good at all. So I just hope that there is at some point some kind of just, what are y'all gonna do with this? Because it's just too much talk at this point, and it's not good. Not good at all. All right, so I need to move the zone up. So the zone moved up because price had moved up a little bit more. And as much as I would like to take this trade, it's at that pivot level, so I'm not going to. Now, one thing that I do have to look at, because the overall bias is an uptrend, we'll see how this trade works out, because maybe I could take those, you know, if the overall trend is an uptrend and I'm taking that at the pivot level. It's kind of like a regular pullback, because we're going in the direction of the trend. And I would have gotten filled, see, 30, kind of hard to say, but I should have gotten filled on that trade if I would have put the entry in. So stuff like that I'm okay with sitting out of, because for a long time I completely avoided taking trades at the middle pivot level. So now I'll just have to look and see, like, if I can still do it on those, but not complete counter trend divergence, because that's not counter trend divergence for me. Half of the Discord needs to mind their business. You can say that again. Yeah, there's some, the Discord people are a mess. Like, I used to block them, but once I became a mod, I was like, oh shoot, I can't block them. I can still see blocked messages though, like as long as the person didn't block me. And I think actually if I have mod status, I probably can still see it. I don't know. But yeah, some of these people, I just want to block them and keep it moving because you're just wasting space. You're wasting space. All right, let me see. I'm trying to go through my Excel spreadsheet to see if I had any, when I started the back test, if I had any data on it, and I did not. And I know I haven't been tracking this divergence off of the pivot level. I haven't been tracking it at all because anything where I had already like solidified like we're just not trading this, I stopped tracking it a long time ago. However, as time has progressed and I've refined rules and stuff, I've been revisiting certain like don't do this rules to see like, okay, maybe we can do it, but there's like certain parameters like this. We have to be in an overall uptrend for that divergence to be okay with taking it at the middle pivot level, that kind of thing. So we'll see how that ends up working out long term. But there was definitely a lot of confluence here. We had the middle VWAP level, the overnight low, the prior low, and the middle pivot level. Like, how much more confluence do we need? But like I said, if the middle pivot level wasn't there, I absolutely would have taken that trade. So, read the FAQ 99.0. Listen. That's why, like, when I start seeing the same question over, especially the 30% consistency rule, my goodness. At some point, I'm probably just going to make a video so I can just DM that person the video link and just say, please go watch this. So I think I'll do a great job of just explaining it and breaking it down to where a 4-year-old can understand it. But when I start getting tired of seeing the same questions over and over, I just start ignoring everybody. I just stop answering questions because I know I'm going to get frustrated that you, as an independent trader, refuse to look at the link I just sent you. So I'm just going to not answer your follow-up questions. That's okay. It's that simple. All right, so we've now cleared. So you can see where the zone is painted. That, well, if I move this, you can see how the blue line turned to a red line. So that means that we cleared the first part of the zone. Now I'm looking forward to clear the second part of the zone, which you just did. But not all the time will we actually fully change to a downtrend bias though, because we could just completely reject immediately and just start pushing up again. So it just kind of depends. Oh goodness. So we'll see. I'm not taking buys. We pushed off of a sell rotation level right there, so no buys right now. Nutty will block people in a hot minute, and you should, because protect your people. You don't even have to be here. If you don't like me that much, I don't understand people who literally log into social media platforms to troll people who don't even know who they are, who don't care that they exist. What is your purpose? You could have just not been here. I've only had 2 people that really I wouldn't even say they got under my skin, but they were both traders with experience who were trying to tell me what to do. And whenever I said, hey, just so you're aware, I have 10 years of trading experience. I'm not new. You see red because I'm developing a strategy from scratch, not because I'm a newbie and I don't have any knowledge. And even then, people don't come to YouTube to get advice from you. One of the guys was like, well, I have 20 years of experience. Well, is this a whose dick is bigger contest? I'm confused. The other person was like, oh, well, I have 12 years of experience. So you're just like the other one. Why does it matter? My point to you was I don't need your help. And whatever you're trying to tell me to do is not really going to help me with the strategy I'm putting together for myself. If it cannot help me with what I'm trying to do, what you're talking about is literally irrelevant. It's irrelevant. But, you know, that's what you deal with sometimes on YouTube. And for me, the only reason I don't block people is because I would hope that after you do all of this shit talking, that when you do see green days and multiple green days and consistent green days, once my strategy is fully put together, I would hope that you have the decency to come back and support me when I am profitable, like you didn't support me when I wasn't. That's always my hope. But most people don't. Most people don't. 272. Most people would never. And the first guy with the 20 years of experience, I was like, why are you here? He was like, oh, I tune in to watch you lose. Do you know how crazy you sound? You're an idiot. Of all the things that you can do with your time, that's what you want to do. Okay. Whatever floats your boat, bud. People are weird. I was looking for... What is the open of that candle? 52.75. I was looking for the rejection here, but we are stalling for too long. So the trade is now invalid. And if we push up one more candle, it's going to be totally invalid because my level will go through the body of the candle. So let's see what we get here. I don't want to take the buy because of how it's rotating over the 453 level that I'm looking at. This candle wicked, and this candle went through the body. So I gotta sit out of that one. Excuse me. Push too far down here. We have 45 minutes left. I would like to at least get back to break even, but just knowing that I should be break even right now, that makes me feel a lot better than it would be if I should be negative right now. But this is definitely the slowest FOMC day in the last 3 months, 2 months. No, 3 months. For my strategy, at least. I want to see the VWAP turn down a little bit. 5507. We can start trading below that rotation level. I think we'd be okay. It's just so choppy. But we do have the second lower deviation level for the VWAP is right here. That's that dark, well, maroon looking color. We got the major support level down there, and then we have the session low. So then we got another VWAP level. Another reason why I knew it was going to be a pretty choppy day is because I don't typically see, well, I'm zoomed in a little bit more on you guys' screen than I am on my own. But anytime that I can see multiple VWAP levels in my screen, that's a problem. That is a problem. Hello. Somebody has been calling my second line and pissing me off. Yeah, you definitely called me the other day, so we'll just block, because I don't know who you are. There we go. All right, so this trade that's trying to set up, once we pull back, because I can't look at the divergence, the divergence is invalid. So this is a trade where I just kind of changed the rules of, I believe it was over the weekend, pretty sure, or it might have been after Monday's session. Not sure. So I definitely need to make sure that I pay attention to my cheat sheet, because I don't have the rules in my head yet, unfortunately. Now my hope is that we don't push up off of the VWAP too far. If we are gonna do anything near the VWAP, I want it to rotate over the VWAP. Also, I don't want it to get as far down as 417.50. That would kind of suck. I hate when there's super huge swings. I'll squeeze the charts a little bit. I'll zoom back in, and we just hit for 1750, the area I didn't want it to get to. But if we push through the session low, as long as we don't rotate here for the sell, I can still take the sell as long as we don't rotate. If we push down, come back up, and the entry bar touches it, I'll be all right. People are envious and hate other success. When the haters come, you're doing something right. Yep. Like I told you guys, I've dealt with trolls and cyberbullying from people that I knew in real life. So online people, whatever. And then you have some people that when you block them, they're crazy enough to make another account or just, you know, message you from their second account. Like, why do you even have multiple? I'm so confused, but you know, that's what people do. That is what people do. I'll never understand it. When I log into any social media platform, but especially YouTube, I am logging in to consume the content of people who I like, who I want to watch, who I want to succeed, who I want to see win. I don't tune in because they're failing at the time. Like, that's weird. That's weird. All right, what are we gonna do here? And there's the rotation that I did not want. So now we wait. And move that down. We got the push up from the level. So before I started using the so my support and resistance levels come from NinjaTrader, and it's their Fame Super Pivot. Before I started using their support and resistance indicator, I used to use like Fibonacci pivots. I tried Camarilla, I think is what it's called, Camarilla pivots before the regular native pivots. I've tried quite a bit, and I actually like their pivot levels a lot more. They draw them, you know, of course, based off of intraday data, which is pretty cool, but it has to be drawn based off of the previous day, because as soon as the market reopens, the lines are drawn and they do not repaint. And I really like that. And you can, you know, color code it, whatever. So what I do is I have the first support and resistance levels, like this block type of line, so that I can distinguish it between the dots of the other ones that I have drawn. And the middle pivot level comes with that. That's the yellow dotted line we were trading around. But I really like it because honestly, after I bought it and I put it on the charts, because I was really just looking for any kind of support or resistance indicator, but there's not very many support or resistance indicators for NinjaTrader that works with Renko candles. A lot of indicators that are out there just don't work for Renkos. So as soon as I put it on my chart, I immediately saw like, oh my God, all of these areas where we were consolidating were almost always at the middle pivot level, the major support level, or the major resistance level every single time. Every time. And I was like, where have you been all my life? Because I don't like drawing support and resistance myself, because that's another component of trading where I might see something as support or resistance and you'll be like, girl, that's not. That's not strong enough for me. I would just have lines all over my chart, because if I saw even one little small swing that happened right there, I'm drawing a line. So for me, indicators make it easier for me to not have to overanalyze and do too much. All right, so we got a pretty big push off of there. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't consolidate there, but at the same time, not really. Now, if this candle here would have closed on the level, I think we would have consolidated there for a little bit before we decided to either push up or push down, but just gotta wait for the next entry again. Where did we change bias before? It was a little bit higher. Okay, a little bit higher. Where's that level at? 417.50. Oh, it looks like we pushed off of there in the London session as well. And this is what I'm saying about this particular indicator. So price, we opened up like back here somewhere, and by then it would have already painted the support level here, and you can see we've bounced off of it multiple times. And that's why I like that indicator. See what happens here. Indicators are a huge benefit. Absolutely. I know some people just don't like indicators, and I get it, especially when you have so many on your chart that it just looks crazy. Now, besides what you guys see over there, I really only have 2 other levels that paint, and that's just my major and minor level, and they flip back and forth and stuff like that. But as long as you're able to quantify whatever you got going on, that's really all that matters. You have to figure out what works for you. There are some people who can trade naked. Cool. There are some people who trade naked where I'm just like, if you just had an indicator or 2 on your chart, you probably wouldn't have taken that. Then you have people who have indicators and they don't even use them, or they don't pay attention to them. Any indicator I have on my chart has a specific place in my strategy. Even when it comes to the prior day open, high, low, close, or the current open, high, low, like those levels matter as well. Why? Because, well, if we just made a new session high, that matters for my strategy. Just does. See, less 291. It just pushed down too far. I did not want it to pull back to 437. But yeah, so everything has its place. Like even when it comes to, let's say, the prior high, I only take sales at the prior high and low. Now the open and close, even though I do look at the open as a support level and the close as a resistance level, I can like interchange them, so I can still take sales at the open level or buys at the close level. However, what I do not do is, because I look at the prior open as a support level, I don't take sales going back towards it. And then same thing for the prior close. So those levels, they matter. So really, like the way that I'm trading essentially is I trade either the pullbacks. I typically like for it to touch a level, but it doesn't have to. But I do like for it to touch a level, right? Because that's kind of extra confluence. Also with pullbacks, I don't like, so let's say there was some kind of level right here. Everything could be valid about this trade, but I'm not going to take it because we're basically pushing back towards a resistance level. So that's important. That's another reason why I have all these different support and resistance type of levels on my chart. But also like certain trades, like certain divergences, it doesn't matter what the volume pattern looks like. If my entry bar touches any kind of level that's on my chart, I could take the trade, boom, no matter what. So yeah, I'm a huge proponent of indicators, but I do feel like, you know, sometimes you can have so many on your chart that now you're kind of, I wouldn't say handicapping yourself, but you can kind of put yourself in a position where you have so much going on that some of your indicators are almost making it to where you overanalyze a little bit. Like everything for this trade set up perfectly, but this one indicator did XYZ, so now I'm not going to get into the trade, but it still works out. So you can screw yourself up that way a little bit, but aside from that, I love indicators. I don't like naked charts. Morning for this job. Okay, Applejacks. Okay. You came with the heat this morning. Good morning to you. I don't have to ask you how your morning's going because we know. Are you watching your Savior this morning? Are you watching? Are you watching? All right, come on. I need this to at least pull back one more bar before I can even attempt to try to get into the trade. But I don't want to see a 1 bar pullback right here at all. At all. So we'll see. It looks like that's exactly what it wants to do. Why? Why? All right, so we have a minor level. Boom. Okay, so we're 1841. My minor level is weak, so I'm looking for a specific pattern that just happened. See if we got enough steam to push on through. No. Okay, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, I don't think we're going to push back above the VWAP. We'll see, but I was hoping with the close above the VWAP that would be enough to hold it. All right, we're pushing back up. There we go. The tight stop loss almost screwed me. I came one tick from being stopped out right there. One. But the price came literally to the price of the open of the candle, and that's fine. It just can't come one tick beyond the open of the candle. So we barely made it. But we're back to break even. So that's good. Considering we only got 30 minutes left, I will take a break even day. Considering how choppy and slow it was, and we also have to remember that I missed the trade, that one. So that would be another green day. So we'll see what the rest, we'll just see if we can get another trade in the next 30 minutes. But that trade was stressful. Very stressful. Good morning, Trenches. Where you been? You don't love me no more. Because where have you been? Life has been trying you this morning. You might watch the replay tonight. Listen, I feel you. If this job was today, if the markets was yesterday, I think, or the day before. Did you trade today? You say life, but really I be the problem 85% of the time. I accept it. Well, at least you're honest. The problem with most people is accountability, and you have that 85% of the time. It's you. Did you at least not trade knowing that you're in the headspace that you're in? Trenches, I need you to tell me where you've been, honey, because I'm confuzzled. You want to know something? With you popping in today, that just reminded me that when I went back to sleep this morning, I actually had a dream and you were in it. It was some kind of trading related dream. I think because I fell asleep watching a trading related video probably, but something was going on in the markets or in like the trading world or something, and you messaged me on Discord to tell me about it and was like sending me screenshots and stuff. It was a very weird dream. Now that you popped up, that just refreshed my memory that I had that dream this morning, because I went back to sleep at like 4 something this morning. I went to bed before midnight, which I hate doing. I literally woke up at like 2:50 this morning, wide awake. Why? It was not fun. And I could not go back to sleep until after 4 o'clock in the morning. It was trash. So I'm actually surprised I'm not more sleepy than I could be, but dang, if the market's all weak, you not messing with this? Okay, well, at least you sitting out. You know FOMC week is not your week. At least you're sitting out. I'm more so mad that today was not that great. If I go back to FOMC of last month, I'm pretty sure on that day I had like 15 setups or something crazy. So I'm not liking the fact that I did not have a lot of setups today, because besides the 2 trades that I took, I think I only missed the one, but you know, I don't ever really know until I go back and I start journaling and I'm like, how did you miss this? You just were completely unaware, which happens a lot. And it's not because I'm paying attention to chat or anything. I'll literally be looking at the charts, confused, like, what were you doing at that time? What were you paying attention to? A lot of times it's because I have old rules so stuck in my head that I already invalidate the trade as I see it happening. And then when I'm going back and journaling, I'm looking down at my cheat sheet to like make sure. And it's like, oh crap, you missed that one too. But yeah. You been in trader rehab? Uh-oh. What did you do? What did you do? You be there. What did you do? I'm not interested in the sale. I'm really just looking for the pullback to happen whenever it happens. That's when I'll look for a buy. I want to see it happen before we get up to 473.50, that middle pivot level. want to see it happen before then, but we'll see. We're currently trading at the current open, which is, as you can see, another level of support for me, but we can trade sales there. Just not this one, because we be going back towards the VWAP. So if we can just get some kind of rejection here and then rotate over it and push back up, that would be great. $471. We're gonna stall here too long for my liking. Stalled there way too long. Would have been nice if we got the volume pattern I was looking for, especially with it using the top of the bias change zone as an additional level of support, but we just stalled there too long, so we'll have to sit it out. There's over 1,000 volume in this candle. I've been having some good days lately. I have Applejacks. This is gonna sound so stupid, but stay with me here. I think that a couple of weeks ago, when I had a pretty decent green day, wasn't like a huge green day, but it was pretty decent. I actually found the motivation I never finished the back test. I just refuse. I'm too meticulous with it. No. But I was like, all right, we're going to go through this cheat sheet, go through the setups line by line, and start to refine the rules a little bit, because I could tell that the rules were too loose and they needed to be way more strict. I had way too many parts on my cheat sheet where I had question marks, or the volume requirements were so vague, I guess you could say. So I just went through, and each day I was going through, each setup. So it took me about a week or so. And I've seen consistent progress kind of since then. I would have had way more green days if there's certain setups also that would have helped me be even more green on certain days, or the red days would have been green instead. However, at the time, I wasn't trading some of the setups that I've kind of added back to my arsenal, I guess you could say. So it's weird, because you would think that you would be way more motivated to get your shit together when you keep having a string of red days. But you guys know, I've said from the beginning, when I changed my Renko settings March 11th, I refused to do another fucking back test. So part of it was I just didn't have enough data. So I had to have very vague rules at the time, because I needed the data from, continuing to trade every day to really give me what I was looking for. So part of it is just having more data. The other part of it is being motivated to finish looking at what I needed to look at as I've been accumulating more green days. It's backwards as hell. But I think starting to see the green day breakthrough just kind of motivated me, because sometimes when you're still seeing red days, even though I don't go on tilt or anything like that, it's still oh, shit, what do I need to do now? and you get so used to losing in the process that it's like, eventually I'll figure it out. But those breakthrough green days was like, okay, yo, now get your shit together, because you're prolonging the progress and the success that you're starting to see. Stop prolonging it. So at this point, like, let me see, I got 1, 2 places on my cheat sheet. 3, actually 3. There's 3 places on my cheat sheet where I'm still like, I don't know, but I need more data for those particular setups, and that's okay. But at this point, most of my setups, the rules are solidified, and at this point, what's most important is me taking every trade, not missing anything because I'm distracted, not sitting out, because I'm being iffy. Because why am I being iffy now? Like, as you've accumulated more data, as you've made your rules more strict, you're seeing the progress of that. So stop sitting out, right? There's nothing to question at this point. Now, if I sit out of a questionable trade, that's one thing, but to sit out of something or like the other day, it was the last trade of the session. Part of it was probably wanting to, I wouldn't even say protect profit, because even if I would have lost the trade, I still would have been green. But I was just over the session, which this doesn't happen often. And we were hitting a level that I don't even have a rule to break even at. But guess what? I sat there and I was like, you know what? It just hit this level. I'm pretty sure it was the overnight low. I was in a buy. It hit the overnight low. It pulled back to my entry, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to break even. This isn't even a rule of mine to break even right here, but technically the overnight high and low create a range zone, and it's trying to push through the bottom of the zone, so I'm going to break even. And guess what? 10 seconds later, there was a full take profit. What'd you do that for? You have rules of manually breaking even for a reason. That ain't one of them. What you doing? Stupid. But I really think that that's like why I'm starting to see progress, though. Good morning, Husk. How are you this morning? Yes, Applejacks is coming along nicely. I am super proud of myself for staying the course, but I can be honest. I said this a couple of days ago. If I was still actively working as a nurse, or if I still had my credit repair business going, I would have quit by now. But I also think that YouTube has kind of helped me to stay the course, because it's a lot easier for me to give up and quit in front of people than to just do it and nobody knows, right? And plus, like I said earlier, I've already put my own success off for 10 years because I kept quitting. We ain't quit no more. We not. But yeah, that back test, baby, look. It's a lot. It is a lot. Now, I do prefer putting my backtest data in an Excel spreadsheet. It makes it so easy for me to filter through the data that way. But it takes so much time because there's so many small components of my strategy. So as I'm going through and I'm looking at the trades and I'm, putting it into Excel and I'm doing this and I'm going through each column, it's time consuming. And I mean, I don't even remember when my first video was on YouTube, but I had already been backtesting heavily before I even came to YouTube. So then for me to do a complete strategy switch, when I switched to volume-based trading right after Christmas, right before New Year's, I really had to backtest heavy because there's no data out there regarding volume and Rinko candles. What? So, and I never traded volume before. So my backtesting was crazy meticulous and analytical. I had to be, because this was a brand new concept with no information out there to help me at all. So I was heavy in it. But I changed my Rinko settings. I started off on a 16 and 2. I went to a 20 and 2. Then I went to a 20 and 1. And then I went to a 12 and 1. And then now we're here at the 16 and 1, which is my happy medium. But in all the processes of me changing Rinko settings 4 times before, I had to redo my whole back test. So by the time I got to 16, baby, look, I put the 16 in one chart up. I looked at those swings and I said, I think we can quantify this. She's not doing a back test. I started the back test. I think I only went through the first day and a half of data, and I said, I'm not doing this. Is it going to prolong what I'm trying to do? Absolutely. But guess who don't care? Me, because no. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. And yeah, it prolonged what I was trying to do. But you know what? For my sanity, it was needed. It was needed. Because I just know I would have been so frustrated dealing with all that. Like, super frustrated. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, Applejacks, you keep me going. You do. Like, for me, I like being connected to people who are transparent about what they're dealing with when it comes to trading. I like people who are, you know, just have great personalities that you can connect with. And it's like, even I did the same thing when it came to my my debt freedom journey, right? I really only got on YouTube to hold me accountable, to have other people reach out to me like, hey girl, it's the 5th of the month. You didn't put out a monthly budget this month. Are you budgeting? What are you doing? That was important for me. And it's very weird because I'm a self-starter. I'm a self-motivator. Like, I'm not one of those people that can look at a motivational video or listen to some motivational audio and be motivated. I just be like, can you shut up? That sounds so bad, but that's really how it is for me. But I also know the value of creating community or being, you know, connected to community is so helpful. Because for me, it doesn't matter how you trade. We can all trade different, but I like to see people progress. I like to see people win. I like to talk to people while I'm struggling, while they're struggling. Like, because it just it reminds you that, like, everybody's journey might not be the same, but we almost all go through the same stuff at some point in our journey. Like, I'm one of those people where I always like to remind people that, yeah, I get why people are very, like, private when it comes to talking about different things that they're going through or whatever. I personally am not, because I like to remind people that no matter what you see on the surface of things, everybody's going through something. Okay, some people talk about it, some people don't. Whatever you're going through right now, someone in this world has gone through it already. And the people who have not gone through it, they actually have a high chance of probably going through it, right? So sometimes it's nice to just know that, like, you're not alone. You're not the only one who hates the markets this week. And sometimes seeing that other people are hating the markets too, it's like, cool, it ain't just me. I can hate the markets this week too. And it's just nice to have. That's the only reason I'm so active. I haven't been as active in the Discord because really I've just been focused on putting this stuff together and continuing to review. Like 2 weeks ago, I promise you, every day I was still on the charts for another 5 hours. Well, I wouldn't say on the charts, but like I had my charts open in case I needed to go back and look at certain trades and stuff. But for 5 hours every day after the session, I was reviewing setups, reviewing volume requirements. It was insane. And I was just so focused. Now, this week so far, probably an extra hour of reviewing stuff this week, maybe. Last week was probably like maybe 2 hours each day. So the least amount of each week, the amount of time that I'm spending on the charts after I'm done journaling to review setups to see if I want to make adjustments and stuff, it's been significantly decreasing over the last 2 weeks. And that's where progress comes for me. Don't make you cry in this office. Listen, I be telling y'all, I got stories to tell, okay? Life is not easy. Life be lifing. And like you said, sometimes we be the problem, I ain't gonna lie. But I don't know. I'm always going to be transparent with you guys, and people can take it as it is. Like I saw, what's the girl? Trades by Jess. I do watch her sometimes. And I did see that she made this community post a couple of days ago. And somebody was like, hey girl, I think you oversharing. First of all, if she is comfortable with sharing whatever she's dealing with, whether it's personal stuff that's causing her to trade the way she is or whatever, who are you to tell her she oversharing? Number one, you don't even have to consume it. Number two, but number three, if she's comfortable with sharing it, be quiet. Don't discourage her from talking about certain stuff, because guess what? Her community post probably could have helped somebody. Probably did help somebody. And here you are on your little high horse trying to tell this woman that she shouldn't be saying the things that she's saying. Nobody asked you. My charts are going to freeze. I have to reload my Ninja script because on my screen, my zigzag just completely disappeared up there somewhere. And I forgot that it's not going to come back and that I can't see certain things because it disappeared. So, yeah, it's going to be frozen for a minute. I love to see people succeed, especially when they put in hard work to yes. Like I'm telling you, I told y'all a couple days ago, when I saw Nutty's video about his first payout, I almost cried. And I'm a G, okay? But I almost cried. Because to see someone deal with crazy trolls to where he has to put in his description or the thumbnail of his video to remind people, I'm still learning. He shouldn't even have to do that. It don't matter if this man is losing I went on a 2-week losing streak. It ain't your business. Well, it kind of is because I let you in on it because I'm live streaming. But you don't got to troll me. If you don't like that I'm losing, don't be here. Don't consume the content. I ain't here to give you advice and I ain't here for yours either. But to see him go through all of that, get his first payout, and his first payout more than covers his buy-in, right? Then he gets his second payout, so now he's really in the green. And then to even see him transition now to where he's like, okay guys, trading is going to be a little bit different now. I'm going to be copy trading. I'm not going to be trading off stream for accountability. But also, if you looked at his video, one of the other things in what his reason was behind copy trading and trading all of his accounts at once was also because him trading one account at a time was kind of detrimental for him at a certain point, because the later you are in the session, when the volume is drying up, you're not trading as well as you were before. So to see him transition like that, and then also he made a point of, let's see, 227. He also made a point that, like, you know, some people look at these accounts a lot different than others. Nutty made it very clear that what he does not want is a revolving door of PAs. He doesn't want to keep failing them and getting a payout and failing them and getting a payout. He doesn't want that, which I get. I wouldn't either. So the fact that he has like a mindset change when it comes to that is pretty dope, I think. And I think it's going to help him long term for sure. All right. So just so you guys know, this trade right here that I just lost is something that I was looking at yesterday, I think. And I didn't really have enough data to say yay or nay whether I wanted to keep trading it or not. After today, I probably won't, with me losing like this. So basically, we were taking a divergence trade to buy going back towards the zone. And you can see this trade hit the zone, right? Now, with all the other trades that have set up like this so far in my backtest data, with this volume pattern, it was fine. But it didn't set up that many times for me to be able to fully quantify it as to whether I wanted to do it or not. And for me, I would just rather not do it. Because basically what my data was telling me so far is if this swing is less volume than the previous swing and all the other volume requirements are right, you know, whatever levels we're reacting off of, whatever, that the trade should work out. But again, there's not a lot of data, so I would rather just not trade it. So I did kind of take a chance with trading it. I could have just kept myself at break even, but I was willing to take the loss, which I just did, so that's all right. 91% of volume selling in a candle, and it's having the hardest time to move down 4 points. This ain't it today. Yeah, today is pretty crappy. Like Jess a lot, her video about full tilt, I was right there that week. Yeah, Jess is very transparent, and I love it. I do. I really do. I think I saw that she said that she lost some more PAs, but she should be able to request 6K or something today. I think that's what I saw. I don't know. I'm starting to accumulate so many more people that I watch, or like, you know, at least try to, especially if they put out like short form content, you know, like the 10-minute update videos and stuff like that. I really like to consume that kind of content because I can't watch everybody's replay. I can't. Rio, you have a great day as well. And I will see you tomorrow. I'm gonna tell y'all how many setups I had for that sale that I just lost. All right, here it is. So there were only 3 times that it's set up before in 8 weeks. And out of the 3 times, they all won. So now with this being a loss, for me, 4 times in 8 weeks is not a lot. And I would rather just not take the trade at all. Because that is that's a heavy resistance level. Especially because we just changed the bias here. So that's like the first touch of it. And actually, for it to be the first touch, there was only 2 other times that it set up. So really it's 2 and 1. So guess what she's gonna do? Just not trade it. Just not trade it. I don't need to force trades. I don't need to, anything that sets up 3 times in 8 weeks, it doesn't even happen enough for me to care. Emma, you enjoy the rest of your day as well. And hopefully I see you tomorrow. But yeah, so this trade, we just ain't gonna take that. Because even if we take into account the one trade I sat out of, I would still be a little bit negative because of the commissions. So if we just take this trade out and add the other one back in, you know, add the other one in that I missed, it would be a green day. So there's no reason to force that to work, especially because a lot of times what happens is some setups, and why I had to restrict certain rules for certain things is because when it's a very high volume and high volatility and I get a lot of setups in that day, it works out. But when it's a day where I don't have a lot of setups, it doesn't work out. And so when I see stuff like that happen, that's when I'm like, let's go ahead and restrict this, because if it's a day where I have a lot more setups, well, I have enough setups to where those wins don't matter. What matters more is the losses on the days where I don't have a lot of setups to be able to cover the loss. So there's 10 seconds left. That's going to be the end of the session. Ended up negative, but it's all good. I'm pretty satisfied with today, even though today fucking sucked as far as like volume and stuff goes. But only thing I can really be mad at is just the fact that I missed out on that trade. But at least I only missed one. But on days like today, where you don't have a lot of setups, missing that one can be detrimental, which it was today. So all good. All right, so this is the update on the accounts. I will move the data lag timer out of the way. So this is where we are. Still kind of have a goal. if we can get good volume and volatility tomorrow and Friday, I should be able to get pretty close to passing this account. Now, my goal was to pass it by Friday so that I could start trading PAs next week, because if I start next week, I would still be able to request a withdrawal on May 20th at the end of that period, but we'll see. If we get good volume and volatility, I don't sit out of trades I'm supposed to be in, I don't take trades I'm not supposed to be in, then I might be able to get there. $1,000 is kind of a lot, but I might be able to do it. We'll see. I'm still going to trade one contract. I'm not going to push it because we can always just push for the 1st through the 5th of June instead. So we'll see. But that's where we're at. Good session as always. Thank you. Thank you, Janelle. And thank you guys for tuning in. Bye, trenches. But I thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Please like the video on your way out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.